The Rouge River flows for 126 miles through 48 communities in southeastern Michigan. It was once a vibrant natural resource until it was used as a dumping ground for decades and it became a waterway everyone knew to avoid. There are many factors that led to the Rouge River becoming so polluted.
Back then there weren't any pollution controls, so all the oil, all the grease, many contaminants were going in uncontrolled into the Rouge and the Detroit River. In 1969 there was so much oil floating on the Rouge River, someone working at the Rouge plant dropped an acetylene torch and the river caught on fire. It's one of 4 rivers in the Great Lakes Basin to catch on fire. That all started then people speaking out, a public outcry over pollution.
This was when people started to really take notice and realize something had to be done about the Rouge River. The problem got the attention of a group of students in Southfield who decided it was time to get involved and clean up the river that was in their own backyard. They called their initiative Rescue the Rouge.
In 1971, I had a student, I taught environmental studies, and I had a student who wanted to do a project and he wanted to clean the river behind his house. And I half jokingly said, no, you have to do the whole 12 miles in Southfield. And he said, okay. He got volunteers to work on it. And the river was so bad that it was flooding and doing flood damage. And the government was going to come in and channelize it and fix it. So they said that we could try this first.
Luckily, these students were not the only ones who took notice. Other citizens who lived within the watershed, as well as local government agencies, became aware of the pollution problem in the Rouge River and worked together to form the nonprofit organization called Friends of the Rouge.
When I was on the Water Resources Commission, I got the commission to pass a resolution saying the Rouge was an important resource. And that was 1985, and they were going to do everything in their power to restore it. And right after that, it seemed to me it would be important to show public support, because a lot of people in Lansing didn't think anybody cared about the river. It was just that dirty little industrial river down there in southeast Michigan. So we talked to Dearborn, and we talked to Wayne County Parks, and we talked to Oakland County Parks, and they said, well, this flows right through all our parks, and we'd love to see people help clean it up. And that's when Rouge Rescue was started. And Dearborn was one of the first communities to get involved in it. And that started in 1986, and we had our first Rouge Rescue Day. And we didn't know how many people would show up. We didn't know if the public really was going to take an interest. And 2,000 people showed up to clean up debris and take out log jams. And we knew that everybody cared about the river, and we better do something about it. And I think that's when people started getting real serious about cleaning up this river. It was in everybody's backyard, the backyard of about 2.5 million people.
In the early years of Rouge Rescue, the river was full of so much debris that it took a lot of manpower to get the job done.
They would back 18-wheelers out onto log jams and have cranes remove the stuff. It was that bad.
And then it took us 7 years to actually get all the old cars and old trash out of there, all the tires and shopping carts that have accumulated.
For more than 30 years, every June, volunteers have come together to work on cleaning this river, and significant progress has been made.
The flow has improved. We have wildlife in the river now, both mammals, fish, reptiles, and amphibians, birds, that just couldn't live there before. So it's improved considerably.
We have people that are actually getting in the river now. It's safe for partial body contact, which means boating. People are fishing the river, in some places eating the fish, like Walled Lake. You can fish and you can swim in the water there, and that's actually part of the Rouge River watershed.
In the last few decades, so much progress has been made in restoring the Rouge that the annual cleanup events have shifted their focus from cleanup to restoration projects.
So a lot of our sites are working on other things that will have a better impact at improving water quality. We're removing invasive plant species to help preserve the biodiversity of our region. Also, some of the native plants alter the chemicals in the soil and have an impact on water quality. We also engage people in native plantings to reduce the impact of stormwater.
The Rouge Rescue is only one of the many events and projects that this organization hosts throughout the year.
Well, we have, I would say, 4 main core programs. We do education, so we do the Rouge Education program. We do a lot of events and work with students all the way up through adults to do public education and changing attitudes and behaviors. We also do monitoring of the river. We have 3 main monitoring programs: fish, benthics, which are also called bugs, as well as frog and toad. We also have restoration programs, and that can vary from rain garden installation projects to invasive species removal, stream bank stabilization projects, woody debris management, things like that.
The mission of the Friends organization is to promote restoration and stewardship of the Rouge River. To accomplish their mission, they work very hard to engage residents to get involved in preserving this important natural resource.
Our role is to provide really accessible, hands-on experiences for people to develop a relationship with the river. We help the average person connect to the resource that is really in their backyard.
None of these important programs would be as successful if it were not for the thousands of individuals who volunteer their time to help every year.
Volunteers, they are the heart and the soul and the backbone of our organization. And so that's a main focus of our organization, is getting people to get involved, get your hands dirty, and feel like you're a part of the solution.
There are many reasons why so many people have worked so hard and so many have volunteered their time to preserve the Rouge River.
I think the community really needs to know and be involved in their own environment. You can't sit back and just say the river stinks or the neighborhood stinks. You need to be proud of it. And by keeping it open and keeping it clean, it's a source of pride. And I had students here. This was something that I did mostly for my students and their families.
People work towards a better future for ourselves, certainly for our families and our friends, and it's just the way communities and civilizations work. They don't just give up, and so you work at it. We have the tools to do it, we have the people to do it. It takes money, takes time. We have a lot of other things, important things to deal with, and taking care of your environment is part of that. I work with some really good people doing our little share to improve the environment.
The Friends recently moved their offices to downtown Plymouth, and although their address has changed, their mission and commitment to restoring, protecting, and enhancing the Rouge River watershed stays the same. If you would like more information about Friends of the Rouge or to find out how you can volunteer, visit their website at therouge.org.